Amazing. How's your day going so far?
Very good. How's your day?
My day is going incredible. I actually just broke my fast about
Nice.
45 minutes ago. I had a protein shake with almond milk, protein powder, frozen kale, almond butter, and chia seeds.
That
And then I ate 2 eggs on an English muffin.
that is like the ideal. That's really ideal. So, did you work out before you broke your fast?
I did.
Yeah. So that's like the perfect combination. And what time? What time zone are you in?
I'm in Eastern time zone, so it's 1:30 p.m.
Oh wow. So it's late. So the only thing I would say to you is, well, we can talk about this whenever you want to, but is move up the dinner that you have in the evening, because a lot of people think, oh, I'll fast till late in the day, and then they have trouble starting their fast early in the evening. So, like,
Yeah.
you had a choice of um, fasting late into the day or starting your fast early in the evening. I would pick the early in the evening.
Okay, right. Starting my like eating an early dinner, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
So tell me,
you're not necessarily going to have to go all the way till 1:30 per se. You could even go from, like, because if you start at 6 p.m., then even 10 a.m. is a 14-hour fast.
right, right. So tell me why that meal that I ate was ideal. And we're on the podcast, by the
Okay,
way, just so
okay,
you know.
awesome. So when you are fasting overnight, you're depleting some of the glucose while you're sleeping, just to do, your maintenance work. Your brain's still doing all this repair and memory consolidation. So there's a lot going on. So there is glucose that's being used overnight. And then when you wake up in the morning, and if you go ahead and work out before you eat something, you're depleting even more glucose, and you may deplete all the glucose if you're someone who is eating healthy and not super high in sugar and processed carbs. And so once you start depleting all of your glucose from your blood and then your liver, your body starts to go into this metabolic switch zone. And this is the magic zone that you want to get into when you're intermittent fasting. And when you get into that zone, that means your body starts using ketones or like fatty acids for fuel. And then going back and forth from that, like using fatty acids for fuel and then using glucose for fuel, is the metabolic switch. And that seems to be the magic behind the benefits of intermittent fasting. So what you did is you woke up, you worked out, and then you broke your fast. And so what I usually recommend to people is, when you break your fast after um, uh, a workout, you time your protein within an hour after you finished your workout, and you time it so that there's both protein and fiber. Those should be your main two constituents. And so when you described that you put, like, kale and chia seeds or whatever the greens into
Hmm.
the smoothie, that was great. And then you said you had a source of protein, which was great. So that's why I said that that could be a really great meal when you break your fast. I break my fast with something different, but it also has protein and fiber from vegetables. So those are kind of like the two requirements that if you break your fast after a fasted workout.
Protein and vegetables.
Protein and fiber, yes.
Oh, okay. So protein and fiber. Good. Okay. Awesome. So this is going to be an incredible conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to stop by the podcast today. You're someone who I really was interested in talking to, and just so the audience is aware of all your work and who you are, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. My name is Dr. Amy Shah. I did nutrition as an undergraduate degree, and then I went to medical school, and I got two board certifications. And after I did that, I realized I was in a really dark place, and I didn't feel good, and I didn't know why I was tired all the time. And so I took a journey personally out trying to figure out what was wrong with me and how to get myself into a place of boundless energy and good health. And what I found is, not everything you hear in the mainstream media is something that you should be doing or is worth your time. I almost tried everything that was worth trying. And I put together kind of a few things that really, really helped and put it into a book called I'm So Effing Tired. And in the book, one of the main things I talk about is this type of intermittent fasting. Circadian fasting is how I call it.
Amazing. So my journey on fasting has changed a lot over time. I am someone who used to eat super, super healthy all the time, a lot of vegetables, a lot of organic food, but I was eating too much. I was carb overloading. I was eating 3 bananas a day, an orange, an apple. I was eating a ton of rice, and I started to realize that I was always feeling lethargic. I was always feeling heavy and tired, and I'm someone who has high energy levels. I go to sleep early. I meditate 20 minutes a day. I only drink water. I stay away from all artificial sugars. But then I started fasting, and it was a game changer. I had higher energy levels. I felt lighter on my feet. I had more mental clarity. And then because I was fasting and because I was getting so many incredible results from fasting, when I didn't fast, I realized how tired and lethargic I was.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's honestly been a game changer for me. And as someone who works out a lot, I'm training for an Ironman. I'm trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon. I probably burn at least 2,800 calories a day, 6 days a week. It's important for me to get a lot of food. So I'm sure you've worked with plenty of athletes, endurance athletes, and high performers in your career. Can you give me a little advice on what I should be eating, what times I should be eating, how many calories, if I even should be counting calories, and then if I should stick to the My Food Plate standard of 1/3 protein, 1/3 fats, 1/3 carbs, or as an endurance athlete, I should be loading up more on carbs 2 hours before a workout and then eating more proteins and fats at the end of the day. And I knew I threw a lot at you at one time, but I know you get my drift and my question.
Yeah. And you're in a very unique position because a lot of people that I talk to are very sedentary or mildly active, like they go to the gym an hour a day. So for you, I think what's really important is to understand that exercise is a hormonal stressor, what we call a hormetic stressor. And intermittent fasting is a hormetic stressor. So you have to be careful because it's like, you're layering on two very stressful activities for your body. Both of those activities are stresses that have amazing benefits. Okay. So just because it's a stress doesn't make it a negative stress. Does that make sense? It's something
Mm-hmm.
that you want to layer on, but layer on in a way that is beneficial to you and not too stressful to you. So, what I would say is that the check ins for you will be exactly what you said: the energy level, your sleep, your cravings, and your hunger. These are great check ins. Like every few days, you need to check in with yourself and say, how is my energy? How's my sleep? How's my cravings? And how's my hunger? If those things are on point, then you are doing the right thing. If you are noticing that with your fasting intervals, you're kind of getting more lethargic, you're having a little more of a cravings than you usually do, uh, your hunger is insatiable, or your sleep is disturbed, that is it. That is a big warning sign that you may be going overboard. And the reason I'm telling you this is that everyone is different. Like you're an endurance athlete, and I have athletes that I've talked to that can do insane amounts of exercise and fasting and not feel those negative effects. But then there's people who are super sensitive to layering on those two things. And so what I say is start low. So for example, maybe you start with an early dinner, like I suggested, and you don't fast for, a full 16 hours. Maybe you start with 12, 13, 14 hours and see how you're feeling. If you've mastered that, then you go to 14, 15, 16 and see how you feel. And really, I wouldn't go over 16 when you're training that hard, because then you're going to have a trade off between how much, good food you can digest in the hours that you're eating. So you want an 8-hour window at least to get the adequate nutrition that you need to fuel yourself for these long workouts.
Right.
And
Great
I
advice.
completely agree that you definitely want to focus on both, having enough protein, but also having enough fiber and carbohydrates. The reason I keep saying fiber is that fiber is the food that is going to fix your gut health. Fiber feeds the gut bacteria. The gut bacteria literally run the show for your body. So if you want to keep your gut healthy, then you're going to have to incorporate fiber into your diet. That means vegetables at every meal. That means, the carbs that are vegetable based are ideal, like sweet potato and carrots and things that are going to give you energy, but they also have a lot of fiber in them.
Beautiful. Okay, awesome. So, how does this sound for a typical day? Fasting until 11 a.m., just drinking black coffee,
Yeah.
1 cup, and then I work out at 11, burn 2,000 calories, and then I break my fast right after my workout with high protein and fats, and then carbs or the fibers. So like dark
Yeah.
leafy greens, like kale, maybe like a salad of like butter, spinach, butter salad, whatever it's called, and then like cucumbers, tomatoes, maybe some flax seeds or sunflower seeds on top of that. And then I don't eat until like 5, 6 p.m. And then at night is when I eat more protein and fats. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
So having a big meal at 5, another big meal at 5 would be ideal for you. So having one right after your workout, and then having another like larger meal early in the evening would be also great, so that you can fuel yourself, get enough calories. Because for you, one of the issues is going to be, for a lot of athletes, at least this is an issue, is to get enough food and calories in so that you're not kind of under eating.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question. I purchased like ketone strips, like
Yeah,
urine strips. I've done 18-hour fast. I mean, last week I did an 18-hour fast and then a 20-hour fast and then a 22-hour fast. And I peed on the ketone strips and it didn't change
yeah.
color. Is that a bad sign?
I don't think that you can rely on these things very well. Like I said, it's
Okay.
not really about being in ketosis. It's really about having your body switch back and forth from ketosis to uh, sugar burning. Now, the problem is today, Zach, that there is zero lab testing, blood, urine, anything that can tell us when our intermittent fasting has gotten into that metabolic switch zone. So all of these tools or things that people try to sell you, that it's really not effective and it's not useful. We really have to count on the science and basically how we feel. So for example, we know that around the 14, 16, 18-hour mark, you will switch to ketone burning, but you may not just have enough in your urine to show it, or there may be, you may have switched back so quickly after you ate that you didn't catch it, or what, there's so many different things. There's really no way for us to know when you are in that zone. The only thing I can say is, if you keep yourself on a relatively healthy diet without tons of processed sugar and carbs, and you're doing these fasts, you are going to be going into that metabolic switch zone pretty regularly.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is what was my question? Well, I should be drinking a lot of water during my fasting window, right?
Absolutely. And you should be watching your electrolytes.
Okay, not too many electrolytes or
No, you should be taking in, for example, if you are fasting regularly about 16, 18 hours, and make sure you're drinking enough water, and you can even put some electrolytes in your water to keep yourself hydrated so that when you do work out, you kind of have that reserve.
Okay. Okay.
And one of the favorite, one of the things I remember when I was doing my research was the runners, the marathoners, Kenyan marathoners for many, many years had learned this technique themselves of training hard in the morning, fasted. And they knew that if you trained like that, then you have a better chance when you're competing to have your body kind of metabolically stronger. So when we go into that switch zone, your metabolic muscle gets stronger. So when you're doing these competitions like triathlon, Ironman, really long workouts, you are automatically going to go into that metabolic switch zone at some point. And if you've done it a million times before, your body is going to be super primed to go back and forth like that.
Mm, I love that. I'm going to start incorporating that and applying that to my life. So, do you have any advice for the average person that's listening? If they don't really work out too much and maybe they eat unhealthy, what's some basic advice you'd give them around fasting?
Yeah. So people who are not doing intense workouts like you, they, uh, first of all, food quality is a big problem in our American diet, right? So people are eating tons of refined carbohydrates and sugars, and we're addicted to these foods. In fact, when you look at the numbers, people are eating 15, 16 hours a day. So they're literally only fasting 8 hours overnight. So even stretching that to a 12-hour fast for the regular person is going to give you benefits. Now, if you're someone who's highly addicted to processed foods, highly addicted to the sugar roller coaster, you will even have you will have difficulty doing even a 12-hour fast. So that's a sign to you that you need to cut down on those refined foods because your body is going on the sugar roller coaster. And when the blood sugar drops, you're feeling like eating again. And that's what keeps people addicted to these foods and also eating till late into the night. So even just 12-hour fast for the regular person and work up from there, and you will notice that even 12 hours is quite a stretch for many, many people.
Mm, just start small, guys. If you want to get into fasting, you want to try fasting, you don't have to fast for 16 hours, you don't have to fast for 18 hours. Try a 12-hour fast, eat dinner a little earlier in the evening, and just push back your breakfast maybe an hour or two later. Start real small, start very simple, be really aware of the way your body feels, on how your body's reacting to your new diet and the times you eat. And you'll start to realize, it's either going to help you or not. Obviously, we're pretty confident that's going to help you, but you'll also become more aware of how your body's digesting the food. Our digestive system needs time to relax. If our digestive system is always running, and please, doctor, correct me if I'm wrong, but like
Yeah, no, you're right.
if our digestive system is always working, it's always breaking down food, it's always, processing food, it's always like using a lot of our energy to, make sure we're getting all these nutrients into our bloodstream and into our genes and our proteins and our DNA. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but this is gonna adversely affect the rest of our body and our digestive system, just like our mind, just like our cardiovascular system or our immune system, needs time to reset, needs time to relax. And human beings, we are not meant to eat 3 times a day with 2 snacks in the middle and a big dessert. That's just not what we're meant to do. And because going out to dinner and food has become more of a social activity than just like getting the nutrients and minerals and energy we need from food, we're so used to just like eating all the time. And I'm
Mhm.
someone who was born, I'm in pretty good shape, and I was born lean, and I never really had like weight issues, so I'm not the best person to like give my perspective on how to maintain good body weight, but I am someone who did have a severe addiction to overeating. And I had a severe addiction to eating sugar and processed foods. And it wasn't until I changed my diet to healthier eating, to fasting, to mindful eating, did I realize how much my body hated the foods I was eating. Like
Yeah.
if you always feel like shit, then you think feeling like shit, excuse my language, then you think that feeling like crap is the normal. If you're always eating processed food, if you're always eating terrible food that makes you feel tired, you think feeling tired is normal
Mm-hmm.
until you change it. So that's my 2 cents on food and our relationship with food. But go on, doctor.
Zach, I completely agree with you 100%. You found it through your own journey. You have to give your gut a rest to repair and renew, and you have to break your addiction from these foods. It goes hand in hand. And if you can do those two things, you're going to notice your mind clearing up. You're going to notice your health improving. You're going to notice your energy going up. I mean, it's like these things that happen when you do those two things, break your addiction from food and start intermittent fasting. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Doctor, it was a pleasure having you on today. Everyone go follow Dr. Amy Shaw on Instagram at FastingMD, FastingMD. Check out her book, I'm So Effing Tired. I assume it's on Amazon?
Yeah, it is. Everywhere books are sold, especially on Amazon.
Everywhere where books are sold, especially on Amazon. Dr. Amy Shaw, it was a pleasure having you today. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with today before you head out?
No, well, I just want to thank you, Zach, for having me. I think your story and your advice is so needed and inspirational to so many.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Dr.
Thanks.
Amy, have a wonderful day. We will absolutely connect soon. If you need anything in the meantime, feel free to reach out.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Zach.
Awesome. So that was a really, really great podcast with Dr. Amy Shaw. She's a Harvard, and let's see, she went to Harvard, she went to Columbia, she's a certified nutritionist from Cornell, Einstein double board certified MD. I mean, she really knows what she's talking about. And this provides even more conviction behind my idea that fasting is super healthy. Like I said, everything I said in this podcast is true. When I was eating like shit and I was eating Chipotle all the time and I was waking up eating sugary cereal and I was like snacking in between, I felt awful. But I didn't realize how awful I felt until I started eating healthier, until I started fasting. So I highly encourage you to try fasting. Give it a shot. You don't have to fast for 24 hours. Try 12, try 14, graduate to 16, and you'll experience all the amazing benefits that fasting can do for you. Thank you so much for stopping by the Life Coach Zach podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much. Don't forget to hit subscribe and smash the like button. See you guys soon.